everyone and welcome to OEM Update Magazine's interactive session on digitalization in manufacturing, enhancing your business with traceability solutions. Traceability helps improve in achieving supply chain transparency from product production to distribution and logistics for business transactions in a timely manner from manufacturer to end user, auto parts to automakers, food to farm to fork, defense, etc. Role of manufacturers: providing technology such as RFID tags, QR codes, barcodes, IoT based tech like GPS and laser marking. The equipment devices like thermal printers, labels, and tag sensors assume importance in the ongoing data innovation in changing times. IoT led traceability solutions brought a major boom in sensor based technology, employing sensors monitoring manufacturing, prevents circulation of counterfeit and inferior products, and enables the protection of corporate brands and consumer rights. The traceability process, with help of GPS, enhances manufacturing that does away with excess production going waste. GPS and traceability applications help provide a plan for manufacturing causing optimum production capacity and delivery that enhances manufacturing. On this note, today we have come together to witness an engaging interactive session on digitalization in manufacturing, enhancing your business with traceability solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege for me to introduce you to today's distinguished speakers. Mr. Amitabh Chaturvedi, Founder Director InnovaPoint Infotech Private Limited. Mr. Vineet Akre, Senior Vice President R&D Production, Word Wizard Innovations and Mobility Limited. Mr. Rohit Sadafal, Aurangabad Electricals Limited, and Mr. Lalit Kumar Mishra, Head Sales Cognex Corporation.
Talking about the traceability solutions, Mr. Amitabh Chaturvedi, you were talking about smart factory vision like Hawk Talk and industrial solutions. I want to ask, to be accurate and speedy, pandemic opened opportunities for traceability solutions and digitization to enhance automation manufacturing. So what do you think? How traceability requirements will evolve in the future? Mr. Amitabh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Gopal Krishna. I think, first of all, I want to thank all the speakers. I also picked up a lot of good ideas from them. So, the way I see it is happening today, as I was alluding to this earlier, that day by day it's becoming more and more wide and more deep. The requirements are, so it's becoming more and more complex. More type of equipments are to be connected, more type of data to be pulled, and a lot of processing and things are required. But the fact is, or the point to consider here is, currently it is all happening across one plant. So everybody is trying to do their own traceability inside their plant. Now, once we achieve that, what is going to happen, in my opinion, that it's going to start flowing across multiple industries. So it is happening today also, but today what would happen is, once I have achieved all my things, then when I receive the raw material, as soon as I scan it, from their system, the data flow into my system. So I don't need any more manual entry or any such thing. It's all data on demand available at my vendor's place. Same way, once I do my job and I send my material to my clients, again, on demand, all my traceability requirements, traceability data is available to them. And in future, I'm actually waiting for the day when all this data start to roll up and we get the bottom-up data, and the OEMs, and I'm especially talking about the automotive only. Once the OEMs have all this data available to them, I'm looking forward to the day when they use this data to, or how they use this data to improve the product, improve the customer satisfaction, improve the quality. I think this is where we are evolving. Is we are doing all groundwork right now. It's going to grow over and it's going to reach to the top, and then it's going to all come down and benefit all of us. and benefit the end users, benefit the quality, product, everything. So that's what I think is.
Yeah, Amitabh it is understandable how this technology can be effectively used for, say, consumer products. So when it comes to industrial production, like say equipment parts or say OEM parts, say metal products, how this kind of traceability solution can be effectively utilized?
Okay. So actually, as we know, the traceability is we talked about the recalls and those things, but actually it is effectively used for your quality improvements. For example, we are talking with one manufacturing company right now where they have huge cell, and it's for an export client. And what we are trying to do, or they rather require, is that it's an automated cell, and they want to make sure that no operation is missed by any chance, or as the product flows and there are gauges in between, and so they want to trace every step, and so they are going to stop if there is a wrong part in terms of the quality, or something is missed by chance, or so quality of the product in the machining shop itself, then the process. So other point is going to be happening is we are going to move away from a lot of manual activities, because they involve a lot of course the human errors, or so there will be a lot of automation happening while implementing these traceability solutions. So these are a few things that comes to my mind right now. So it's process improvements, quality, and automation. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Amitabh. That was absolutely perfectly you have said about that. And Mr. Rohit Satpal, I'm coming to you. You, from the end user point, you have a lot of experience. So post-pandemic, what challenges and future prospects do you visualize for the IoT-based technologies applicable for traceability supply chain? Mr. Rohit, please.
Yeah, building on to Mr. Amitabh's suggestions and advice, when we talk post-pandemic world, like everything was changed overnight for each and every industry. So suddenly the fourth industrial revolution, which was like much discussed in the conferences, was no more a notion now. So it was a need of the hour. So digital transformation no more was something which was hyped kind of a thing, like which was a thing of Western countries. But now it is a need of each and every industry that wants to survive in tomorrow's world. So when we talk about the post-pandemic requirements for traceability for industries, like I said that traceability for different industries could be different thing. There is nothing like one size fits all kind of a solution. So it always has to be tailored and customized to reap many benefits for each customer. So it has to accommodate a lot of things for the customers, like shared by Mr. Lalit and Mr. Amitabh, that they are going for specific sales, and every time when they do, they are customizing the thing as per the customer requirements. It's not like they have created one single product and that's what it is going to every industry. So like we need, in this case, we need to identify and capture the customer outlook for the industry. It's exactly, we need to identify the value chain here. What value the traceability is going to create for the customer, and how, on not just on the finance aspect, but on the triple bottom line aspect, like finance, social, and the governance, environment, and everything, how it is going to create a greater value for the customer. So that is the world that we are imagining for tomorrow. More thing is like there are relevant new technologies coming in. One of them is a blockchain. So tomorrow we are going to see a lot of blockchain implementation, encrypted traceability solutions, so that nobody can do anything to the process records or to anything, such that even if we trace the product after 20 years, we should be able to get exact data of the production, who did the production. So there are, as I certainly said, that there are not going to be a single product which fits all customer requirements. It will always be a diverse, customized requirements which the world has to meet. And definitely, Industry 4. When we talk about the Industry 4.0 in traceability, or digital transformation in traceability. In the first, the thing when we talk about investments in digital transformation industry 4.0, and when people talk a lot about the return on investment, it's a perspective that we understood that whatever we invest in the technology has to get matured by 3 or 5 years, because certainly after 3 or 5 years, the technology is changing at a rapid pace. So today, if you are using a barcode, tomorrow there could be other QR code, or like there could be some another technology with the help of visual inspection. So when we talk about post-pandemic traceability solutions, first thing, it has to be customized. It has to get a lot of earlier ROI to the customer. It has to get, rather than ROI, it has to generate a greater value in a short period of time for the customer. And third thing is like it should provide data for the future so that we improve on the product, new design and delivery. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Rohit. You very well said about the significance of traceability and how the future would be evolving and the new instruments would be coming out. Mr. Vineet Thakre, you are talking about GPS technology. So what upcoming market expansions do you foresee for GPS tracking, and which traceability solutions stands to command major revenue share?
As I mentioned, for GPS traceability, I think GPS traceability will be mostly helpful in tracking the performance of the vehicles, and when it comes to our industry, as the automobile industry, the data which can collect, it helps us in improving our products. And I'm not actually able to share this, share the screen, but then we have a lot of data which is coming up from our customers, and that is helping us to see their usage characteristics, and as I mentioned, the charging and discharging, and because EV is relatively new in the market now, so people don't know how to use the vehicles properly. So they use it as if they are using an IC engine. They don't get a range, and they complain, and they if the battery also life, sometimes there are cases where they don't get a battery life, so they come to us. So then we provide them some data that this is how you are using the vehicle. So I think in the EV industry, this IoT based tracking in future, it will be very helpful, and it will help the EV industry and the consumers also, as well as to how properly use the vehicles. I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Vineet, for telling us more about the EV arena, which we are foreseeing in the near future. Within 3 to 5 years, we need so many tracking technologies. Now, Mr. Lalit Kumar Mishra, coming to you, you're talking about the machine visions. That is the most important and vital part of the automation manufacturing. So what more cost-effective IoT innovations do you expect in future to automate process from origin to manufacturing to end user in its entirety? Mr. Lalit.
Yeah, so, as I actually touched upon earlier as well, there are innovations happening across the value chain, right? Both in the core industrial IoT as well as on the sidelines. There are many tests and pilots happening, many use cases that I've actually seen, not just in traceability, trackability, but even in terms of predictive maintenance and, all kind of stuff. And there are organizations, who've been around for a while. There are established organizations, and there are startups who are coming and disrupting this space a lot, really. So there is just a lot of action happening. I think the key is for us to see, which such solutions or organizations bring in a more sustainable set of solutions, provide faster return of investments to customers, and are able to actually deep dive and look at the how should I say it, look at the whole value chain and see if it actually makes sense for the customer. And even within one industry, you would actually see different set of cultures, different set of processes, and so on, really, right? So it has to be almost like custom made for each customer, even within the same industry. And this is where, so what one could actually do is to look at creating modules which could then, more like skeleton modules, which could then be wrapped around with the custom layer and with the fabric that fits in well. And I think Rohit sort of did touch upon that beautifully as part of his explanation, really, right? So and as I said in my opening remarks, I am seeing innovation happening across man, machine, and material. I mean, no specific solution I would like to call out. While I was at Tata Communications, we created a very large sort of deployment of worker safety across, which is sort of very well suited for organizations which deploy a very large workforce, which works in very, let's say very dangerous or accident prone areas. I'm talking about people who are operating boilers or cranes or are exposed to very high degree of temperature or those kind of things, really, right? And how do you sort of save lives there, really? So I thought that was a very, very innovative way to put up an IoT solution. Why? Because this was helping save lives of workers. And by the way, when I moved out, we had records that it has already saved or reported accidents for 18 people, and their lives could actually be saved. So that I thought was a very, very big deal. And it actually became a big story in Tata Innovista and all that. So anyways, from moving on from there, machine vision, which I'm particularly very excited about. As I said in my opening remarks, if organizations can look at deploying, the right set of machine vision processes across the life cycle of guiding, identifying, gauging, and inspecting, I think a lot of innovation can actually come through. And not every time you need to look at a packaged innovative solution, really, right? Sometimes you could look at the modules and then design a process which sort of works beautifully for your process that can come out as, with flowering colors on innovation, really. And I've seen a lot of organizations doing that. So I hope that is something that's going to continue. We are in very exciting times and we'll see a lot of innovation happening across manufacturing sector.
Coming to one of the questions, Mr. Sunil Bane, one of our panel attendee delegate, is asking the question is about 3D printing traceability in medical field. Can someone answer this? I mean, what is your experience in that?
But for 3D traceability, for 3D printing, what I can say is like, unlike now, what we do in terms of laser printing on a product which is already produced. So tomorrow, whatever products you produce through 3D printing, so they will have an inbuilt capability of leaving the traces and identification from time to time. That is one point. Then we are going into EVs. So EVs usually don't have much of the complex products for us, because like in case of IC engines, we had complex engines, covers, and the pumpings and the housings and everything. But EVs comparatively are more of a housing kind of thing, which requires new advanced material to be brought in. So now earlier people used to go with a single material. So now the material science is going to play more role. So that's why 3D printing is going to be more imperative in this case. So as and when the innovation comes with 3D printing for the production of large-scale production of the automotive components, so it will have an inbuilt capacity to put the traceability into the system. So that's what I can add. I would also like to add one more point, taking a cue from the conversation with Mr. Vinit. He mentioned about the EVs traceability through GPS. So digital transformation is an integration of IT and OT. So what we have seen. So now this IT and OT has been transferred to, if you have seen recent examples of the scooters which are coming into market, which have very good OT technology. And the manufacturer is able to trace each and every action of your vehicle at his back end. And at his back end, there's a deep learning engine which is analyzing all of these vehicles. So once we are able to get this kind of data, so when we talk about the improvements or the latest models which need to come, which need to be more efficient or which needs to cater to the customer demands. So what I can envisage tomorrow's future with digital transformation traceability will see a accelerated and exponentially accelerated developments, with the help of like GPS technologies, for the help of the performance of the engines which is inside, because they are all electric engines will be there in the future. So we should be able to easily tap the signals and get the data back to the manufacturer. So that's the future. So, and hence traceability is going to play a very larger role in this case.
And it looks like a great business opportunity as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Rohit. Mr. Amitabh, I'm concerned about, say it is the common experience of most of the industrial manufacturers or people who are into this business is about the security aspect. So what kind of security challenges you see in this kind of traceability solutions, and how to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, traceability is the data security is very, very important, as we know. And the good thing is there are a lot of security aspects or security protocols or various security ways are already there, which are being used in other systems, other software systems and cloud and other places. So those will definitely be coming in here. But what we understand, the way we have built is there are a lot of security related aspect what one has to involve during this design and development time of the solution or of the product or whatever they are doing. And then there will be a lot of security aspects which will come into picture when you actually implement it. For example, I'll take you an example or give you an example. When we implement our gateway has a lot of open ports in the sense for scalability. So in future we can, like for example, there are 4 USB ports. We can use 4 today, one another tomorrow, and likewise. So one very simple practical aspect that when we install gateway, we disable all those ports which are not going to be used currently, and we start opening them slowly as and when required. So this is one simple thing. There are, this is very simple. There are many more complicated in terms of encryption or the network which goes in, then encrypting the data around it, or how to bring the network security. So it's not a very simple, it's multi-layer. There are security at the every aspect of the data. When you're fetching the data, how do you want to, how will you make sure that if there is a sensor, it gives data only to your gateway, doesn't respond to some other call, which could be a malicious call. So there are those kind of things which have to be kept in mind when you are designing the system. And there are technologies out there, but there are of course more and more technologies evolving. Rohit talked about the blockchain, which is another very important security technology which is coming in. It has already made some inroads in other verticals, and it's coming in this also. So yes, it is. There will be failures, there will be threats, and I think it's always there. But yes, we are making good progress as an IT industry.
Yeah. And this is a part of the game, like dealing with such challenges, right? The security challenges. Get that. Thank you so much, Amitji. One of the delegates was asking about the potential possibilities for RFID solutions or technology in traceability. So can someone address that?
Yeah, I can try to answer that. Actually, it's just a different way of identifying the presence of an object. So whether you scan a barcode or a QR code, you have RFID where you find the presence automatically, and maybe not only the presence, but you get a little bit more data around it. So it's just one of the way, and we worked with automotive assembly line. That's where we were discussing of using it to identify when a vehicle comes to your station. So that's when the RFID is going to read it and tell you that which model it is, which is right in front of you right now. So there are many applications, but yeah, it is also used for tracking the pallets around the factory. So yeah, I don't know whether I answered the question, but yes, it's technology which is very useful, can be applied in multiple use cases.
Thank you, Amitabh. Yes, Rohit ji, please.
An example of RFID implementation. So what we did with us, we have around 4 plants in Aurangabad, which are placed besides each other. So we have tagged all of the assets with an RFID barcode and everything. So we need to do audits for the assets which are available in different plants and everything. Sometimes it happens that we transfer the assets from this plant to that plant out of our operational requirements and everything, because it's all in a similar campuses and everything. But we were finding it very difficult to trace which asset is where. It is already there in the system, but we were not able to physically trace it. When we tried out that, we did a RFID tag, a rugged RFID tag, because a kind of we operate in a very harsh environment like foundry industry. It's completely harsh environment. So we implemented it, and now today with this RFID tag also has GPS. So RFID plus GPS, we are exactly able to trace the asset location. It is in which plant. If the asset goes out of this plant, so then automatically it updates in the sheet that the this asset has been transferred to another location. So that is one of the example RFID can be brought to use.
Yeah. So Rohit, also can you share some incidents, anything which happened in terms of a security breach in using this kind of solutions in your premises?
Usually when RFID security breach happened was like the tags went missing sometimes, because not out of mischievous activity, but the kind of operations we do requires a very ruggedness thing. So that was one of the security breach. Another security breach was when we started with this activity, we weren't sure about how do we secure with the firewall or another layers. So then at time we faced a major problem. So that's why we started with I cannot explain the problem here, but that's where we started looking at blockchain ledgers, digital ledgers, which are encrypted, and nobody is able to spoil this data which is coming to us. Today, fortunately, we are not linking the data to automated machine operations. But when cyber physical systems are going to come, in case when a single product, Mr. Lalit Kumar said about a safety incident in his company. So with the help of traceability, if we are going to operate a single machine, or it is going to give a command. So at that point of time, it will be highly required that we should have a robust cyber security in place. Of course, when we move forward with the digital transformation, cyber security goes in the parallel thing. So blockchain currently is now the future, which should go parallel with the digital transformation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Rohit, for throwing lights to this area. Mr. Lalit, I'm coming to you with a question that, you said technology is widely getting adapted in manufacturing. But for traceability solutions, we see that traceability solutions are relevant for every kind of manufacturing or every kind of industry. But according to you, which are the industries you see in India that will be more potential in coming years for traceability solutions?
So, the traceability market overall is actually growing exponentially with the industries that I think that comes to my mind with the rise in the consumption that we have seen in e-commerce, and that leads to rise in logistics, right? And we all know how quickly we are able to trace the product as soon as we have ordered, all the way it actually lands at home, right? There are, these are the industries that I think are going to be the most hungry for traceability and trackability as they expand into B-class, C-class towns and all of that. And that's where I think the network availability will play a big role and so on. I've also seen, and just sort of going a little bit away from the heavy manufacturing, but process industries such as, let's say, food or garments, again, has shown tremendous growth, and they would also need a lot of trackability and traceability. May not be in the direct line as we see trackability and traceability, but maybe with with new technologies like blockchain that Rohit touched upon and others as well. So those are some of the industries that I think will draw a lot of value out of the traceability solutions. And this is going to cut across the entire value chain, not just the manufacturing process, but procurement of raw material all the way to delivery of goods, and being able to sort of even look at if, let's say, things go wrong, then even look at the the callback of products and so on. Again, just taking a cue here, this is where Cognex also plays a critical role. Traceability is an area where our customers are concerned about loss of revenue and reputation that comes with diversion and counterfeiting of their products. Machine vision technology is kind of increasingly applied to read and validate unique identifiers on products to prevent sort of counterfeiting and diversion, really, right? So that's something that that one would want to keep in mind. So those are my thoughts on the traceability and the industries that are going to be drawing it. Yeah.
That's really great that you see that the solutions will be widely used among all kind of supply chain, say, utility lines. Thank you so much. Mr. Vineet, at your workspace, what kind of traceability solutions are in place?
As I said, whenever we receive the material, we are tagging the manufacturer, of course, they provide some serial numbers, but then we are tagging each and every part with barcodes, and we are as they are on the assembly line are being assembled, these barcodes are scanned and they are going in the ERP. We have a job configuration of all the parts which are used in a particular bike. Like if at the end of the assembly line, the entire bike data we have, and we are able to trace which component from which batch, from which manufacturer has gone into that bike. And as now Mr. Lalit Kumar says, the machine vision, so it is exciting. I'm also thinking of doing something, because even on the assembly line, the manual errors do occur sometimes. Barcode scanning all is okay, but then the colors and all, they are entered manually. So if machine vision can give us that edge, and even we can track the colors, and if they can be linked with the ERP and these details can go, the colors and even the physical inspection if possible, or even if machine vision can help scan the barcodes. I'm not, but he mentioned that barcode also I think can be scanned, right? Yes. So all these it can be more automated instead of manually scanning the barcodes with a operator. So machine vision possibly can help me have that solution also on the shop floor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Vineet. Amitabh, I request you to give a closing remark for this session.
Okay, well, thank you. I had a little different point to bring up here. In my interaction with the various industries or factories, when it comes to traceability, what I have noticed most of the time, it is considered as something being forced onto the factory, something which probably is not considered as a value-added item. So I want all of us to actually think in the other way, that it's actually a very much value-adding activity. May not be directly, but it is actually in the long term, if you think, it's a completely win-win situation, because if this data, as I was saying earlier, if it starts to go up and reach available at the OEMs on demand, I think it's going to bring tremendous improvements in terms of customer satisfaction, product, and it's going to be coming down for all of us to. It's win-win situation. So traceability, I think we should go for it. Another simple thought on that is, if you haven't started your Industry 4.0 journey, traceability could be a very, very good starting point for that. So I think we should all be welcoming traceability.
Digitalization in manufacturing, enhancing your business with traceability solutions. We hope you enjoyed the session thoroughly. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Mr. Amitabh Chaturvedi, Mr. Vineet Akre, Mr. Rohit Sadafal, and Mr. Lalit Kumar Mishra. I would also like to thank Mr. Gopal Anand and Mr. Prasad Nair for taking this initiative. We would like our delegates and viewers to stay connected with us on our social media handle, OEM Update Magazine is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Additionally, you can also download our app from Google Play and App Store. So with this, we would like to announce the closing of today's session. Request you to stay tuned for more such sessions. Thank you and goodbye.